Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Morning Briefing from Friedman Adventures. It is great to be back with you all. Man, they are seeing a lot of tuna. You saw the sonar there in the wheelhouse of the San Diego out of C4 Sport Fishing. There's a lot of big news to go over with you. It's a little gloomy on the beach today, but that's the only thing, as far as I'm concerned, it's gloomy because we've got great weather. We've got an unusual catch on the Grande to talk about again. I don't know what's up with those guys. They keep getting these weird fish. And then we've got a lot of bluefin tuna, and now new areas of BFT have been found. Look out, our two-day trip on the Amigo sails tonight. We do have an opening or two. Had a guy with COVID who's destroyed. Really wanted to make this trip, and I feel really, really bad. But if you want to join us, there's still time. Just send me a text quickly, 657-227-6459. We're looking at the ultimate combo trip on the Amigo if things play out. You know how predictions go, but man, I'll tell you, it really looks good. All right, let's get into it because we have so much to talk about. I talked to Arnie Man down in Ensenada just a moment ago. He's a Pongero who fishes down there and a really good friend of mine, and he said it is flat good down here in Ensenada. So we have fish at least down there to Ensenada. Then as you move up the peninsula, we see more and more bluefin tuna, and now extending into U.S. waters. We'll talk about that in a moment also. There just seems to be an incredible amount of bluefin tuna around, and the light switch is so slowly going up. In fact, maybe not so slowly, it's really starting to turn on. And the one big difference I see in this bluefin tuna here recently is that it's reacting to the chum. It's on the surface, it's biting a fly line bait. There was a lot of this 20 to 60 pound bluefin tuna that came up and boiled and acted like bluefin tuna, you know, that surface kind of bite. So fluorocarbon, and we love OpsonUSA.com. Put in FA at checkout and you'll get a free gift as well as a note from Greg Brown. By the way, on our Amigo trip tonight, I'll have plenty of Opson for all of you, so don't spend your money on fluorocarbon. We've got the very best Opson for you on our trip, and we'll provide that to you along with blacktail hooks. Thank you, Sky. You're the best man over there at Best Fishing in Hawthorne, California. We've got some other stuff for you also, so we'll be really excited about this trip. Back to San Diego, however, some of the hits really good. There was a few misses. Liberty had 15 bluefin tuna, or they had 19 bluefin tuna. The San Diego had 15 bluefin tuna. Once again, more daytime fish now. The nighttime, still biting, still really good. But the daytime is sometimes where we struggle a little bit. And for the most part, we saw positive signs on that daytime fish. Up boiling, up eating the fluorocarbon, a fly line sardine, choosing a good hot bait, using fluoro, about 30 to 40 pound will work perfectly for you. And it really looked pretty darn interesting. And we are seeing more and more good signs. Daiwa Pacific limits on the BFT, mostly 25 to 50 pound. And kelps are holding some yellowtail also. There's been yellows on the kelp, so that is looking good. Now, moving to LA Orange County-based landings, we look at Jeff Markland on the Thunderbird, who just keeps doing it over and over and over again. Capable fisherman, funny guy, great to fish on that platform. Thunderbird out of Davies Locker in their first drift yesterday, hooked about 20, our first drift where the fish stuck with them, 25 fish hooked, got 14 on the boat, 33 to 55 pounders. They tried sinker fishing, not much on the sinker fishing, really good on the fly line. So you can hear the theme here. It is really looking excellent right now. All right, that weird fish over there on the Grande, let's talk about it. An Escolar, sometimes referred to as an oil fish or a butterfish. That's another weird one. It graces our cover. There it is, beautiful fish, caught in deep waters. And one thing about that, they suggest that you don't eat over 6 ounces of the Escolar because, how do I put this delicately? There's some gastrointestinal issues with it. It sometimes has the effect of a laxative. So go easy on the Escolar, especially if you're sitting anywhere near me. I prefer that you, keep it at 3 ounces. All right, let's do that. All right, Amigo, out there at San Clemente Island, taking a look yesterday. They went 7 for 10 on the yellowtail hookups. Good calico bass fishing, really good bonita fishing. So yellows, calicos, and good action over there on the bonita, bigger bonita also. So that island is starting to come to life. Maybe a few sea bass and halibut in the picture. There hasn't been much squid there at all, so not sure about that, but that island is starting to come together. And Mark Paisano on the Amigo also seen evidence of bluefin tuna, really good evidence of bluefin tuna, which paints the possible scenario for us on board the Amigo of a combo bluefin tuna island kind of trip. It really, really looks mind-boggling good. And hopefully the Freedom is going to get out tonight. Tino Valentine's itching to get out and do some fishing with you. I'm hoping he gets out. It would be so much fun to work with my friend Tino on this 2-day trip. So we'll be taking off tonight at 9 o'clock with high hopes. Everybody on that trip, you've all been advised, get ready for island fishing, get ready for bluefin tuna fishing. Don't expect to get too much sleep. Probably island during the day and bluefin at night. And I'm really excited about it. We probably will start out looking for BFT in the morning. The afternoon bite on the bluefin's been a little slow, so that's when we can do our island fishing and then pop back out and hit that bluefin at night. So make sure you're bringing some jigs along with you. Flat falls, Sakanas work really, really well. Knife jigs, and get ready to rock and roll. This really sounds like it could be the best of both worlds. My fingers are crossed, that is for sure. All right, let me take you through the islands, the rest of the islands. Down there, Todos Santos off Ensenada. Arnie Man telling me a few yellowtail out there. Everybody's driving right by it, going for this nice bluefin tuna. So most guys are skipping it. If you do, however, want to fish there, there's been some good lingcod fishing, big bonita bouncing around there. Not that bad, not that great. Same thing at the Coronado Islands, where we've had some sport boats and private boaters take a look at that, and they've picked off a few yellowtail here and there, some bass fishing, that kind of thing. Moving up the line, we've talked about Clemente. You know, that's looking pretty darn good. You think that the yellows could go off there. Incidentally, the yellowtail at San Clemente, kind of a mixed bag, smaller to nice fish. So there's a mixed bag of fish there at Clemente. Continuing to Catalina Island, there's been some white sea bass hits there at Catalina. It's been a little slower for the sport boats here recently, but there's still the possibility of a sea bass, a halibut, decent calico bass fishing, some bonita. Kind of on the slower side here recently. We'll keep our eyes on that and see where that develops. Incidentally, before I hit the rest of the islands, we got a full moon and a grunion run on the 16th. Many people believe that on the full, fish have a great tendency to move and maybe push into new areas. So will we see an albacore push in to Baja or SoCal waters? There's enough coverage out where if one pokes its nose up, it's likely to get caught. So is that going to happen? We'll wonder about that. And then our local zones, are they going to get an influx of barracuda and more sand bass on this full? We'll see. And maybe we're all just making, assumptions that don't really exist scientifically. But over time, guys have said this, and many times when you get that repetition of something over the decades and over the years, it's because there is a certain amount of truth to it. All right, let's finish up with our islands. We'll take you up there to San Nicolas and Santa Barbara, and there has been some really good sea bass fishing, really good halibut fishing, and those islands look very, very good. It's been hit and miss, however. You got to be at the right place at the right time. And I know of occasions where a boat has limited out on the white sea bass. Here recently there was an example of this, and called another guy in. By the time the other guy got there, it had shut off and it was over with. So very frustrating at times, but also some really good hits. Channel Islands, they're picking at the back, or not picking, they're having really good calico fishing, good rock fishing up there, and occasional hits on the sea bass and halibut. Not every single day, but that place looks good. And my God, the weather, it's going to be beautiful for the next couple of days. Looks like wind on Friday afternoon, Friday evening. So we'll keep our eyes on that. On our Amigo trip, that's when we'll be headed home. So we look like we're looking down the barrel of some really great weather, and you can't beat that. On the local scene, down there in Ensenada, University Point, more barracuda taken yesterday, so that looks pretty good. And bonita bouncing around there. Some sand bass also being taken in Ensenada. So that's a good signal and sign. Up there around San Diego, a few yellowtail for the local boats, some barracuda, some decent bass fishing, a lot of shorts, a lot of action. Nothing wrong with that. Moving you up the line, you know, sometimes it's a little picky. Yesterday was a little slower overall. The boats right out here, it slowed up. It wasn't that limit wide open fishing that we saw over the weekend that was really quite good. Excellent fishing on sand bass and calico bass. We were out on the Judith Ann and found similar really good bass fishing. We had a short white sea bass and a lot of other stuff also. So that was really looking good. But right now it turned into a pick and a scratch. It could be very temporary. You know, some guys, again, point at the full moon and say, well, that's what the problem is. So we'll watch it very closely. But many of the local boats. Now, you look at the Native Sun yesterday, and they had just a day of constant action. Mostly shorts out there, but really good action. Calico bass, few legal barracuda, still limited out on the sculpin. So you go home with a sack of great eating fish. Nothing wrong with that. So a lot of action. It seems like you're guaranteed up. And on a lot of the days here recently, some limit style fishing on calico and sand bass. Hopefully that's what's happening out there this morning. We'll keep our eyes on that for you very, very closely. Also, taking a look up and down the coast, as I mentioned, we have a grunion run on the 16th. That will occur. That's a big magnet. You know, all that bait moving up on the beach attracts predators, halibut, yellowfin croaker, like to eat them. So things should be very active here. There's a lot of Corvina. Speaking of Corvina, and my friend Tino Valentine, who runs the Freedom out of 22nd Street Landing, that's one of his passions, real passions in life, is to fish Corvina in the shallows on light line. He's a pro at it, and he loves it so much. And I called him yesterday and said, when are we going to do some Corvina fishing? And he said, yeah, I know. The water's heating up. It's looking good. Pretty soon we'll get out there and do it. Maybe Tino's going to get his hands tied up here with some excellent bluefin fishing and other species. It's been kind of a slower start this year for many guys because of wind and, you know, fishing has been inconsistent. But maybe here tonight, I'm hoping he gets out of 22nd Street Landing. It's 310-832-8304. If you can't join us on the 2-day with the one spot we've got open, you can jump on with Tino and go out and have some fun, and hopefully we'll all be able to work together. So Corvina becoming more prevalent, some yellowfin croaker along the beach. Remember, yellowfin croaker love to bite on a chrome crocodile. When they are spawning, they bite that so well, and that is an absolute blast here on the beach. I'll tell you that right now. So we're looking down the barrel of some really great potential. I'm really excited about our 2-day trip tonight. Everybody on board, you know, I mean, it's been so fluid. The guys on our charter are like pulling their hair out at this point because I've told them everything from white sea bass to giant trevally to, you know, wahoo to, and of course I'm being facetious, but it has changed so dramatically in the last 48 hours that we've been talking about going for sea bass only to going for sea bass, yellowtail, bonita, calico bass, and now bluefin tuna. And it looks really good. Whole new area of fish that we are going to get a taste of, and we'll be letting you know. In fact, we'll be probably fishing bluefin tuna to start out our morning, tomorrow morning, and then rolling into the island, as I said, and then back out to the bluefin zone at night, and then back into the island to fish. So don't plan on getting any sleep at all. And remember, go easy on the Escolar. If you love the people around you, please don't eat too much Escolar. All right, everybody, great to be with you. Thanks for spending some time here on the morning briefing. I'll be out on the Amigo for a couple of days, but the morning briefing will live on. Take care, everybody. We'll see you really, really soon.